Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to talk about what is becoming a very interesting burgeoning market within the cryptocurrency market, and that is the market of crypto treasury companies. So we've talked extensively about MicroStrategy, which is a Bitcoin treasury company. They had started their accumulation strategy of Bitcoin in August of 2020 and since has done extremely well, outperforming the S&P 500 and most of the Magnificent Seven since that time. And they continue to accumulate and have now accumulated upwards of 600,000 Bitcoin that they currently hold on the balance sheet, and they're not stopping. Now we're seeing that Ethereum treasury companies are becoming a thing. We mentioned it a few weeks ago, and now we're going to go a little bit further into what these companies are doing, how many companies are looking to accumulate, and how many other cryptocurrencies people and companies, I should say, are interested in adding crypto to their treasury. As you can see here, we're at strategicethreserve.xyz. And we now have a list, and just like we have Bitcoin treasuries, we'll go to that in a second. We now have a list of Ethereum treasuries that is going to keep track of the amount of Ethereum that each company holds, the value of that Ethereum, and a lot more information as well. But as you can see here, this is just from an X post that has a snapshot of what's on strategicethreserve.xyz. And you can see here that BitMine just recently made another purchase of Ethereum. They now have over 566,000 Ethereum. One of their board members, Tom Lee, who's a well-known financial analyst, has said publicly that they want to have upwards of 5% of the Ethereum supply. So they still have a long ways to go, but they said they want to be the strategy of Ethereum. Sharp Link Gaming is also right up on their heels. One of their board members is one of the co-founders of Ethereum, Joe Lubin, and they also are in the stage of trying to accumulate as much Ethereum as possible. Ethereum hasn't reached all-time highs yet, and so they're trying to accumulate as much as they can. And we'll get to that news right now. As you can see here, over this past week, that their Ethereum holdings had increased to 360,000, and that they're also looking to continue to add more. I'm not sure if they'll be doing weekly purchases similar to strategy, but it looks like over the past month they have been buying Ethereum every week. So you can see here they have been very transparent, just like strategy has, with regards to their accumulation strategy and how much they're actually purchasing. So you'll get a chance to go to Sharp Link's investor relations page and be able to keep up to date with how much Ethereum they're actually buying in real time, or at least within a week. You'll be able to find out how much they have been purchasing throughout time, and they'll continue to keep track of that balance that's on their treasury. And also we can see here that BitMine, they initially had started with a $250 million PIPE, and basically that's a private placement where they have accredited investors and other institutions. They offer them a certain percentage of the company by selling shares for a certain price, usually a discounted price, to raise funds. And they are doing that as well as the strategy, which is selling shares and basically putting more shares out on the market to be able to buy Ethereum, to fundraise and to provide the capital to buy more Ethereum. So now that their holdings have exceeded 560,000, they're continuing to plan on adding more. So as you can see here at BitMine, we surpassed 2 billion in Ethereum holdings just 16 days after closing their initial $250 million private placement. As I mentioned, I talked about Tom Lee, who is the chairman of the board of directors, and we are well on our way to achieving our goal of acquiring and staking 5% of the overall ETH supply. So another reason why people are really excited about these Ethereum treasury companies is because Ethereum is a proof of stake, unlike Bitcoin, which is proof of work. As a proof of stake platform, smart contract platform, those who stake are able to receive a return in Ethereum. So basically, it's almost like a dividend or an interest that they are able to receive for securing the platform, being a participant in the network by securing that platform, they're basically getting a reward. So it's almost like mining, kind of, to a certain degree. There's definitely more nuance to it, but with that, not only will they be accumulating this Ethereum, but they also will be accumulating more Ethereum through staking. So that is another way that they'll be able to continue to provide investors an accretive value using Ethereum, having Ethereum on their balance sheet. So if we go to Bitcoin treasuries, as you can see here, Strategy, as I mentioned, has over 600,000 Bitcoin currently on the balance sheet. And if you notice, you can see in the top 10, the United States has nine of the 10 companies holding holding Bitcoin, because it looks like most likely no one will be catching Strategy, unless probably maybe one of the companies in the Magnificent Seven really probably are the only ones, and maybe Berkshire Hathaway, only ones that have enough cash or the ability to be able to buy as many Bitcoin as Strategy. So if we look here at the entities holding Bitcoin, we see that over the last 30 days, over 24 entities more are continuing to add Bitcoin and are interested in adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. So we see that now a new group of companies and entities have come on to the train of buying Bitcoin and keeping it on their balance sheet. iShares, which is the BlackRock ETF, they have over 735,000 BTC, over $75 billion worth of Bitcoin. And this fund has been outperforming their S&P 500 fund. So it just goes to show that traditional finance is really interested in digital assets, and we're seeing that crypto really is representative of what the future currently holds. And we can also see government entities right now. The United States and China are basically neck and neck in terms of the Bitcoin that they are holding. There's a possibility that United States could be adding to their Bitcoin stack. It still remains to be seen, but it is something that the US government has intimated over the last year. And we can see that DeFi has a huge chunk of BTC. Some private companies have BTC, but they still don't have as much as people like you and me, the retail investor, that have a ton of the Bitcoin supply. And remember that there's going to be 99% of the supply minted by around 2032. So we'll have most of the supply out there of the 21 million, that only the 20 million that will be available. So we know that the demand is continuing to skyrocket. The supply, as we know, is finite. There's only going to be 21 million. And so with this type of demand, most likely the price will continue to go up over time. And as digital gold being a $2 trillion asset, gold being a $22 trillion asset, if it catches the market cap of gold, then Bitcoin could potentially be $1 million one day. As we go back to treasuries, we see now that companies are interested in other cryptocurrencies. We're just giving you the news, telling you what's out there, but definitely be mindful, because this could potentially become a bubble at some point in time, especially considering how companies decide on how they're going to go about accumulating the crypto that they're putting on the balance sheet. So you definitely want to make sure that you keep an eye out for that and have an understanding of what these companies are trying to do and what they're doing in order to raise capital to buy this crypto, and would they be able to withstand a bear market where some of these cryptos, particularly those not named Bitcoin, can go down 90-95%. That's real. Would these companies still be able to hold on and hang on and not go into bankruptcy in those type of situations? But as we see here, there's a Litecoin treasury that's being developed. The foundation founder, foundation founder Charlie Lee, he's going to be joining the board of I'm not familiar with this pharma company, but they're a pharmaceutical company, and they're going to be adding Litecoin to their balance sheet. Then we have another company, BitOrigin. They're going to be adding the Doge coin, the biggest meme coin of them all, constantly and still in the top 10 of the digital assets in the cryptocurrency market industry. And they this microcap crypto mining company said that they will be securing up to 500 million to establish a Dogecoin treasury. And so you want to make sure, as I mentioned earlier, that you do your due diligence, learn as much as you can about what's going on and what these companies are doing to raise funds to buy this crypto. Obviously, we talk a lot about Bitcoin, which is the number one cryptocurrency and digital asset in the world. It is a store of value and has proven itself over the last 16 years. So definitely make sure that you stay tuned to us here on X as well as IG. But you can see here we have Solana. We can't leave them out before we go. Also, there's a ton of companies, or not a ton, but there's definitely a number of companies that are also adding Solana to the balance sheet. And we're seeing that over the last several months, particularly over the last 3 months, that they're stacking a lot of Solana, as Solana has kind of been hanging in there, holding around 200 or under 200, and a lot of people believe that they're going to have their breakout at some point in the next 12 months. That obviously remains to be seen. And one last news story before we get out of here: Christie's, which is one of the luxury brokerages, not only in real estate but also in collectibles and art. They have a real estate division that is now going to be debuting crypto real estate division. So basically, they have agents who have done deals in cryptocurrency, and they've continued to see more and more buyers and sellers who are willing to buy and sell their homes with cryptocurrency. It also provides a form of anonymity as well. And so you can see here that one of the agents said that the trend was obvious and crypto is here to stay. And over the last several years, there was a purchase of a $65 million property in Beverly Hills where cryptocurrency was accepted. And so now they have around $1 billion worth of real estate that is coming on the market or already on the market that are going or can be transacted with cryptocurrency. So this to me is actually very big news, particularly since real estate continues to go up. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, but particularly Bitcoin, is basically combating that inflation in real estate. So we're starting to see that a lot of buyers are willing to take Bitcoin for their real estate. So this is definitely going to continue to be a developing story. We'll continue to keep you posted, but this is very interesting, and we're looking forward to seeing how this goes over the next several years and how much of this 1 billion will actually be sold in cryptocurrency. And we wouldn't be surprised if all of it is sold in cryptocurrency. So once again, thank you so much for watching. We're here with you every week on YouTube, also on X as well as IG nearly every day. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the Networkchain. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.